The battle on the alien planet was fierce. Dark skies burned red with explosions. Strange sounds of weapons and screams filled the air. Soldiers moved quickly, shouting orders in languages no one else understood. The ground shook beneath their feet as ships flew overhead, firing bright beams of light. Lyra, an alien warrior from the Zorith race, ran through the rocky fields. Her skin was pale blue, and her eyes glowed softly in the dim light. She wore armor that was scratched and dented. For many fights, her heart pounded hard. She was fighting for her people, fighting to protect her home. But today things were different. The humans were stronger than she expected. As Lyra ducked behind a large rock, she felt a sharp pain in her side. She stumbled and fell to the ground. Clutching her stomach, warm liquid spread across her fingers. Hate. She was bleeding badly. The battle had taken its toll around her. The sounds of fighting grew louder. Her comrades shouted, but many were retreating. The human soldiers pushed forward. With surprising speed and strength, Lyra tried to stand, but her legs felt weak. Fear and pain mixed inside her. She knew she could not keep going like this. Lyra looked up at the sky. Dark clouds blocked the stars. The wind carried the smell of smoke and metal. She was alone now, left behind by her own people. She thought about the war, about the years of fighting that had brought them here. She thought about the stories of human cruelty she had heard since she was a child. But now, lying on this strange ground, she felt something new. Hope. Suddenly, she heard footsteps nearby. Her eyes tried to focus, but the pain blurred her sight. A figure appeared, moving carefully towards her. It was a human soldier. Ethan was a human from Earth, part of the exploration and peacekeeping force sent to this distant planet. He had fought many battles, but he had never seen an alien wounded like this before. When he found Lyra lying there, bleeding and weak, something inside him changed. He knelt down beside her, keeping his weapon lowered. "You will be safe," he said softly, trying to speak in her language. His voice was calm, steady, full of kindness. Lyra was surprised. She did not expect mercy from a human. She looked into Ethan's eyes and saw no hate or fear. She saw something she had almost forgotten: care. Ethan gently lifted her into his arms, careful not to hurt her more. He carried her away from the battlefield, away from danger. The ground was rough, and Lyra's body trembled with pain. But Ethan never let go, as they moved through the alien forest. Lyra thought about how strange it was that a human saved her life. Her mind was full of questions. Why was he helping her? What did it mean for the war? But her body was too weak to fight back the pain. Ethan found a safe place, hidden among tall trees. He laid her down carefully on soft leaves. He tore a strip from his uniform and wrapped it tightly around her wound to stop the bleeding. He worked quickly, his hands steady, even as he felt the weight of responsibility. "You are strong," he whispered. "You will live." Lyra closed her eyes, feeling warmth from Ethan's touch. She heard the distant sounds of battle still raging. But here, in this quiet place, she felt safe for the first time in days. The sun began to rise, painting the sky with soft pink and orange. Ethan stayed by her side, watching over her. He thought about his own family back on Earth, and how he wanted a better future for everyone, humans and aliens alike. Single quotes, as breathing grew slow and steady. She felt tired but calm. For the first time, she wondered if there could be a different way, a way without endless fighting and pain. Ethan looked at her and promised silently that he would do everything to protect her, not just because she was a prisoner or an enemy, but because she was a living being who still mattered in that moment. Two enemies became something more, a human and an alien, connected by a fragile hope in a broken galaxy. Lyra slowly opened her eyes. The room was quiet but filled with soft light. She felt the steady rhythm of machines beside her and the gentle warmth of a blanket covering her. For a moment she did not remember where she was. Then she saw Ethan sitting nearby, watching her with careful eyes. His face was tired but kind. He smiled when she looked at him. "You were awake," he said softly. "You had a bad wound. We saved your life." Liara tried to sit up, but pain shot through her side. She fell back onto the bed with a soft gasp. "Easy," Ethan said, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. "You need to rest." She looked around the room. It was inside a human base hidden deep in the forest. The walls were smooth and pale, with strange machines humming quietly. She saw other injured humans and aliens lying in beds, all cared for by medical teams. Lyra's mind raced. She had expected enemies to treat her like a prisoner, or worse. But here she was treated with care and respect. It confused her. "Why? Are you helping me?" she asked in broken human speech. "We are enemies." Ethan looked thoughtful. "We are soldiers," he said. "But we are also humans. We help those who need it, even enemies." "It is the right thing to do," Liara did not know how to answer. She remembered her people's stories of humans being cruel and violent. But Ethan's gentle voice told a different story. Over the next days, Ethan visited her often, brought food, and helped her practice words to speak better. Liara learned about human ways, their hopes, fears, and dreams. She shared stories of her people's struggles and the long war that had pushed them to this point. Slowly, a bridge grew between them. Two beings from very different worlds found common ground in kindness and understanding. Yet, outside the walls of the base, the war did not stop. News came that Lyra's people planned a new attack to take back the territory lost. Many humans feared she might betray them or escape to warn her allies. Some soldiers looked at Liara with suspicion. They whispered among themselves, unsure if they could trust an alien warrior so close. Ethan stood by her side, defending her quietly. "She saved many lives by warning us," he said. "We must give her a chance." Liara felt torn. She wanted to help the humans who saved her, but she also feared betraying her own people. The war had taken so much already: families, homes, lives. One night, Liara and Ethan sat outside under the stars. The air was cool and quiet. "Why do you fight?" Ethan asked gently. Liara looked up, her eyes full of pain. "To protect my people," she said. "But war is endless. It takes everything." "Maybe," Ethan said, "we can find another way. Peace is hard, but it is better than fighting." Liara wanted to believe him. She saw in Ethan's eyes a hope that the war could end, but she knew the road would be long and dangerous. As she healed, Liara learned more about human kindness. She saw soldiers helping aliens, even those once seen as enemies. She heard stories of humans risking their lives to save others. It changed her. The hard walls around her heart began to crack. But danger loomed. A group of alien soldiers discovered the location of the hidden human base. They planned to attack, to destroy the humans, and take back Liara. Ethan and the human commanders prepared for battle. They knew the fight would be fierce and many lives could be lost. Liara made a decision. She would warn Ethan and his team of the attack. It was a dangerous choice, but she could not stand by and watch more die. One early morning, she slipped quietly through the base. Her body was stronger now, but her heart was heavy. She found Ethan in the command room, studying maps and battle plans. "Attack coming soon," she said firmly. "I will help you stop it." Ethan looked at her with surprise and respect. "Thank you," he said. "We fight together now." Their partnership became a symbol of hope for both humans and aliens, and he began to believe that peace might be possible if they worked together, but not everyone agreed. Some saw Liara as a traitor. Others feared she would bring disaster. The war was far from over. But in the quiet moments between battles, Liara and Ethan dreamed of a future where their two worlds could live without fear. As the sun rose over the alien forest, a new chapter began, one of trust, courage, and the hope that even enemies could become friends. The days passed slowly inside the hidden human base. Liara's body grew stronger, but her mind was restless. She looked out at the strange alien forest beyond the walls and thought about her people, the Zorath. They were proud and fierce, taught to fight without mercy. Yet here she was, learning kindness from a human soldier. Ethan visited her every day. He told her stories about Earth, about people who had faced wars long ago and still hoped for peace. Liara listened closely, feeling something warm inside her hope. One afternoon, while they sat beneath a tall tree in the base's small garden, Ethan asked Liara, "What do Zorith believe about peace?" Liara hesitated. "Peace is a dream," she said softly. "Our world has known war for centuries. Many believe it is the only way." Ethan nodded. "Humans fought many wars too, but we learned that peace takes courage more than fighting." Liara looked at him, wondering if such courage could ever be found among her people. Yet she wished it could. At the same time, news from outside was troubling. The Zorith War Council prepared a new attack on the human base. They believed that destroying it would turn the tide of the war. Lyra's heart tightened. She knew the attack would bring death and suffering. She could not allow that. She spoke quietly with Ethan. "My people will come soon. It will destroy this place." Ethan's eyes darkened. "Then we must be ready." Together they studied the maps and plans. Liara shared knowledge of Zorith tactics, how her people moved. "Where their weaknesses lay, you must trust me," Liara said. "I want to help stop the war." Ethan believed her. He trusted the courage he saw in her eyes. The base prepared defenses. Humans and aliens worked side by side. Many were unsure if Liara could be trusted, but Ethan's faith gave them hope. As the attack drew closer, Liara and Ethan grew closer too. They trained together, shared stories, and found comfort in each other's presence. Their bond became a light in the darkness of war. One evening, Liara told Ethan about her family, her younger sister and parents, waiting on a distant world. She feared she might never see them again. "War takes everything," Liara said. "But maybe we can build a better future." Ethan reached out and took her hand gently. "We will try, together." The next day, scouts reported that Zorith forces were near. The base went into alert. Soldiers prepared weapons and shields. The ground trembled as heavy ships landed. The battle began with a roar. Zorith warriors charged, their weapons glowing bright. Humans fired back. Protecting their home, Liara fought bravely at Ethan's side. She knew the enemy's moves and warned her human allies. Their teamwork surprised even the fiercest Zorath fighters. Amid the chaos, Liara saw a young Zorath soldier fall. She hesitated. Should she help or keep fighting? Then she remembered Ethan's kindness and chose to save the soldier. She pulled the wounded Zoroth away from danger, hiding behind a rock. The soldier looked at her with shock, unsure. If she was friend or foe, "Live," Liara whispered. "There is more than war." Back at the base, Ethan led a group to hold a critical point. He fought fiercely, but was hit by a blast and fell. Liara rushed to him, fear rising in her chest. She carried Ethan to safety, ignoring the pain from her own wounds. As she held him, she whispered, "You matter to me." The battle raged on, but the human base held strong. Zoroth forces retreated, shocked by the unexpected strength of their enemies. After the fight, both sides counted their losses. The cost was high, but the bond between Liara and Ethan had grown stronger. Their story spread among soldiers and leaders. Many began to believe that if a human and an alien could trust each other, peace might be possible. Yet there were still those who hated and feared. The war was not over. Liara knew her choices had made her a target. Some Zorith called her a traitor. Some humans doubted her loyalty, but she no longer cared. She had found something more important: hope, friendship, and the courage to dream of peace. As she looked out at the stars that night, Liara felt a quiet strength. The galaxy was vast and full of danger, but she was not alone. With Ethan by her side, she believed they could change the future. The air was tense in the human base. After the recent battle, everyone was on edge. Some humans doubted Lyra's loyalty. Some Zorith whispered she had betrayed her own people. But Ethan stood firmly beside her, trusting her without question. Liara felt the weight of suspicion from both sides. She knew that many expected her to fail, to turn against the humans, or to return to the Zorith and bring destruction. But she refused to be a weapon for war anymore. She wanted peace. One morning, Liara joined a meeting with human commanders. They discussed plans to protect the base from future attacks. Ethan was there too, watching her closely. "We need to know more about the Zoroth's next move," one commander said. "Liara, can you help?" She nodded. "I will try." Liara spent hours studying maps and listening to reports. She remembered how her people thought and fought. She shared ideas carefully, knowing her words might change many lives. As days passed, Liara and Ethan worked closely to prepare defenses. They trained soldiers, shared strategies, and built trust among the humans and the few aliens who wanted peace. But the Zoroth War Council was not quiet. They sent a spy to the base, someone pretending to be a friend. But with a hidden knife, one evening Liara noticed a stranger watching her from the shadows. Her instincts told her danger was near. She told Ethan, who warned the commanders. The base went on high alert. The spy moved quickly, trying to steal secrets and weaken defenses. But Liara and Ethan caught him before he could escape. The spy confessed that the Zoroth planned a massive attack, one that would destroy the base and anyone inside. The news shocked the humans. This was no longer a small battle. It was a war that could end many lives. Liara felt a heavy sadness. She knew many Zoroth soldiers were her friends, her family. The thought of fighting them again hurt her deeply. There must be another way, she said quietly to Ethan. He looked at her with hope. We will find it. They decided to send a message to the Zoroth War Council asking for peace talks. It was a dangerous choice. Many would see it as weakness. But Liara believed it was worth trying. A small team, including Ethan and Liara, traveled to meet the Zoroth leaders. The journey was long and tense. Both humans and Zoroth soldiers watched them with suspicion. When they arrived, the War Council was cold and unwelcoming. The leaders did not trust Liara or the humans. They called her a traitor and demanded proof of human weakness. Liara stood tall. She told the council about the recent battles, the lives lost, and the hope she found with Ethan. She spoke of peace and the future they could build together. Some council members scoffed, but others listened. The youngest leader, a woman named Saris, looked thoughtful. "If peace is possible," Saris said, "then show us you mean it. Stop the attacks." Ethan and Liara promised to try. They returned to the human base with heavy hearts, knowing the path ahead was hard. Back home, the base prepared for the worst. They built stronger walls, trained harder, and waited. Liara continued to teach humans about Zoroth culture. Ethan taught her about human courage and kindness. Their friendship grew, a beacon in the darkness. One night, under the stars, Liara told Ethan about her dreams. Dreams of a galaxy where humans and Zoroth lived as friends, not enemies. "It feels far away," she said softly. "But every step brings us closer," Ethan replied. Then the silence was broken by alarms. The Zoroth attack had begun. Ships fired across the sky. Explosions rocked the ground. Soldiers rushed to defend the base. Liara fought with all her strength, warning humans of dangers and saving lives. Ethan fought beside her, never leaving her. Sighed. The battle was brutal and long. Many were hurt, many were brave. In the chaos, Liara saw Saris fighting to protect her own soldiers. Their eyes met briefly, a silent hope passing between them. After hours, the Zoroth forces retreated, weakened but not defeated. Liara and Ethan stood together, tired but unbroken. The battle showed the cost of war, but also the power of trust. The Zoroth Council had seen humans fight with honor and courage. The humans had seen Zoroth warriors who cared for their own. This battle was not the end, but it was a beginning, a chance for both sides to choose a different future. Liara looked at Ethan, her heart full of hope and determination. They would keep fighting, not just with weapons, but with words and trust. Because sometimes, the strongest battle is the one to stop fighting. The war had reached a breaking point. Zoroth forces were regrouping for another attack, stronger and more determined than ever. The human base was ready, but fear hung heavy in the air. Both sides had lost much, and many wondered how long. The fighting could continue. Lyra and Ethan met early in the morning, preparing for what might be the final battle. They both knew the risks. This fight would test everything they had worked for, the fragile trust, the hope for peace. We have to protect everyone, Liara said, her voice steady but filled with worry. This war has already taken too much. Ethan nodded. We fight for a future where no one bleeds on alien ground. They gathered with the soldiers, humans, and Zoroth alike. Many faces showed doubt, but also determination. Lyra's presence among the humans was a symbol of hope and of the price of war. The enemy forces approached quickly, their ships darkening the sky. The battle began with a thunderous roar. Weapons fired, shields flared, and the ground shook beneath the feet of charging soldiers. Lyra fought fiercely. Using her knowledge of Zoroth tactics to lead the human defense, she moved with grace and strength, protecting her new friends and fighting for a cause she believed in. Ethan was at her side, his weapons steady and his heart full of courage. They saved each other more than once, their bond alight in the dark chaos. But the enemy was strong. Waves of Zoroth warriors pushed forward, breaking through the outer defenses in the heat of battle. Lyra saw a young Zoroth soldier fall near. Ethan, without hesitation, she dashed forward, pulling the soldier to safety. The young warrior looked at her with confusion and fear, unsure if she was friend or foe. "Live," Lyra whispered. "There is more than war." Back on the human side, Ethan was hit by a blast. He fell hard, pain flashing across his face. Lyra saw him go down and rushed to his side, ignoring the fire and smoke around her. She lifted him gently, cradling him, as if he were fragile. "You matter to me," she said softly, her voice filled with hope and fear. They retreated to safety, where medics worked quickly to heal Ethan's wounds. Lyra stayed by his side, never letting go. The battle raged on, but the human base held firm. The enemy forces finally began to retreat, surprised by the strength and unity of those they fought against. When the smoke cleared, both sides counted their losses. Many were hurt, many were gone, but something new had been born, a spark of trust. Lyra and Ethan's story spread among soldiers and leaders. It showed that even in the darkest times, kindness and courage could bring people together, yet not all welcomed this change. Some Zoroth leaders called Lyra a traitor, while some humans doubted if peace was possible. But Lyra did not give up. She had seen what was possible when enemies became friends. She spoke to both sides, sharing stories of courage, sacrifice, and hope. Her words reached soldiers tired of war and leaders who dreamed of peace. One evening, as the sun set over the alien forest, Lyra and Ethan stood together, looking at the stars. "This war will end," Lyra said quietly. "But the future depends on what we do now." "We will build that future," Ethan promised, step by step, with trust and courage. Their journey was far from over. The scars of war ran deep, and many challenges remained. But Lyra and Ethan believed in something stronger than fear, hope. Because when someone holds you, like you still matter. Even on alien ground, it can change everything. The war was over, but the wounds it left were deep. The alien planet, once a battlefield, was now quiet. Both humans and Zoroth soldiers lay down their weapons, tired of fighting. Lyra stood beside Ethan as they looked out over the horizon. A new day rising with promise. Lyra's body had healed, but her heart carried the weight of what she had seen and lost. She thought about her people, her family, her friends, and the future she wanted to build for them. Ethan stood quietly, his hand brushing hers. Together, they'd survived the worst of war and found something rare: hope. The Zoroth War Council agreed to talks for peace. Many leaders were hesitant, still hurt by years of conflict. But Lyra's courage and Ethan's honesty opened doors that had long been closed. At the peace meeting, humans and Zoroth gathered around a great table. Voices spoke of forgiveness, rebuilding, and trust. Lyra shared her story, how a human had saved her life and taught her that she still mattered. Even as an enemy, her words touched many hearts. The room, once filled with anger, now held quiet. Hope. Outside, soldiers from both sides began working together. They cleared battlefields, helped rebuild homes, cared for the wounded. Lyra walked through the village, seeing children of both races playing side by side. The air was filled with laughter, a sound long forgotten. Ethan joined her, smiling. "This is what we fought for," he said softly. But peace was fragile. Some still doubted, afraid old hatred would return. Lyra understood. She too carried scars that would not fade quickly. But she believed that with kindness and courage, the future could be different. One day, Lyra received a message from her sister on Zoroth's homeworld. Her family was safe, and they wished for peace too. Tears filled Lyra's eyes. She realized how far she had come from bleeding on alien ground to standing as a bridge between two worlds. Ethan took her hand again. "We made it this far," he said, "and we will go further." Together, they helped create a new alliance between humans and Zoroth. Their story became a symbol, proof that even the deepest wounds could heal. As the sun set on the alien horizon, Lyra looked up at the stars. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers and wonders. But she was not afraid, because someone had held her when she was bleeding out, reminding her she still mattered. And now, she held that hope for others. The future was theirs to shape with peace, friendship, and courage.